This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Athletics.
Leaping at the wall, it's gone! A towering drive into center field by Rooker.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
A judgy blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Swung on, hit high, hit deep to right, away back into the second deck.
Bobby Witt Jr. becomes the first shortstop in Major League history to have two 30-30 seasons.
Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to walk-off dingers to Hall of Fame talk. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
All right. There we go. Welcome to A's Cast Live. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Yeah, yeah. I don't know why you can't hear, but
I can't hear me, but what the hell does that matter? We're here at the ballpark in West Sacramento, everybody. Let's get ready to rock. I'm going to take the headphones out.
Well, here, I'll leave one in. I'll work on it real quick while we're doing
Don't
this.
worry about it. No, am I interviewing? I'm not interviewing anybody on the phone anyway.
True, no.
All right, so we don't need headphones. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of A's Cast Live. A lot of excitement, I can tell you right now, being around the ballpark today. We're going to have Hogan Harris, who is back with the ball club. Big fan of Hogan Harris. I've talked a lot about how I think Hogan is a guy that someday will start again for the Athletics, but he came in last night and pitched 2 1/3, kind of settled it down. No runs, struck out 4, only walked 1. Was a big win, was a big part of yesterday's win. And we'll have Mark Kotsay, the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford. Mark Kotsay Show will be at 5:45. But wow, what a night last night. The first ever walk-off for the Athletics here at the ballpark in West Sacramento. Do you have the cool video? I know not everybody. I know if you're listening on K650 KSTE or the Bull down in Vegas, or anybody on the A's radio network, and of course on streaming on A's Cast, you won't be able to see this. But if you are able to see this on YouTube or on X, you're going to say, this is pretty cool. A different view of Jacob Wilson's walk-off home run.
3-1. Line drive to center field. It's a base hit. Streaking around third is Urias. The throw to the plate is late. It's late. The A's win the series. Jacob Wilson walks off the Rangers again. It's a 4-3 winner. The A's have arrived in West Sacramento.
Not a walk-off home run, a walk-off base hit, but that was super cool. And then last night for us on A's Cast on NBC, we got our first chance to do the post-game interview for the walk-off. So we actually got to talk to Jacob Wilson. And then we had Tyler Soderstrom show up here. But, man, that was awesome, right? Doesn't get any better than that.
No, and
by the way, Commander Cody, how are you?
I'm great. I love the new retro 93 A's shirt that I found in the team store here from Homage makes great T-shirts, so I'm glad that I was able to
So how is that retro?
Apparently it says 93, so I'm assuming that's what our logo was back in 1993. I don't know. I like the T-shirt though. Homage makes good shirts.
Is that in the store here?
Yeah, it was on the
sack?
it was in the on deck shop, I think we call it here. So went in and bought it yesterday because I wanted to do a little something different than wearing a polo every day. So Friday. You know,
oh wow,
laid back Friday.
The polos, all right.
But Jacob Wilson last night. David Feldman and I were talking last night, and
this stat, or I wouldn't say it's a stat, it's a note. This note that we have now told Mark Kotsay it. I told somebody else, Ross Bowen down in Las Vegas, if he's listening. I told this too. This is phenomenal.
There's 2 of them, so I'll do the one with Jacob Wilson first. Jacob Wilson, just the 3rd player to ever have the last walk-off hit at a stadium and then have the first walk-off hit at the new stadium.
Now think about that. Of all the different places, all the different ballparks in the history of baseball where the team has played their last final games at a place, and then move to somewhere else. So you think about Cincinnati Riverfront. Then you think about Three Rivers. You think about Minnesota, Yankee Stadium. You think about also New York with the Mets, the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, everybody has moved. The Marlins. Everybody has moved. The Rangers have moved 3 times. How many times have the Braves moved?
Braves, yeah.
Fulton County to
Turner.
Turner, but it was Olympic Stadium or something like that.
Yeah, then they made it
the
Turner.
Olympics.
And then
now where they play now. So they've had 3 chances there. Not Kansas City. Seattle. You could have done it in Seattle.
Yeah. I wonder who the one we got to watch now.
San Diego.
Well, it's already happened because I don't know if the Rays have had a walkout this year, but it'd be interesting to see if that happens for them because they're obviously playing at Steinbrenner
Yeah, but San Diego, you could have done it. Just think about all the places that have been replaced.
Did you say
Houston.
Did you say the Sky Dome to or not?
I said Toronto.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm talking about King Dome to Safeco to T-Mobile now.
Yeah, I said Seattle. I said Houston, Texas, 3 chances.
Yeah.
Some places you had 3 chances.
Yeah.
So that's pretty. You've had chances, and it's only happened 3 times.
The other 2 guys who do it along with Jacob Wilson, everyone remembers Jeff Kent doing it.
I know. I covered that era, and no, I do not remember Jeff Kent.
Jeff Kent did it from Candlestick to, then SBC Global, Pac Bell, whatever the hell it was called then. And the other, Jeremy Burnitz did it, leaving Milwaukee County Stadium and then going to Miller Park, now American Family Insurance Field.
That is a super cool note.
Yeah. And then the other one is the A's walk-off win last night was the A's first in a ballpark other than the Coliseum since April 7th, 1996, when Geronimo Baroa hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th to beat Detroit 7-6 at Cashman Field in Las Vegas.
So the last time – so do that again.
The A's walk-off win last night
in a place other than the Coliseum was actually Las Vegas.
Yep, in 1996.
Wow.
Almost
really
30
cool
years
stuff.
ago.
Really cool stuff. We have a lot to get into today. Obviously, we'll get into A's. And I went down, did a little digging today, because it has always upset me when people in baseball bring up aces.
Yes, that's why I'm glad
and I think you do it just to rile me up. Because let me tell you something. I've done a lot of work with Dave Stewart. And if you go back to when I was growing up and when I was becoming a pitcher and a player, and I knew that I wanted to play beyond high school, Dave Stewart was one of the guys everybody looked at. He's a 20-game winner 4 straight years. He was a big game pitcher. So when I got the opportunity in all these years to whether interview Dave Stewart on this show or do television with him on NBC, it's an absolute honor. Dave Stewart was an ace, a bona fide ace. Who would he battle against? Roger Clemens, bona fide ace. You don't have to necessarily have to be a Hall of Famer to be an ace, but you have to be a guy in your time that's known as a big game hunter.
Yeah.
You are like people pay to watch you pitch. You are known as one of the best players of your generation. So I went down, and it was funny. The only pad that I have, the Red Rock Casino. I got the Red Rock from when we were
with the hotel?
Vegas. Red Rock Casino Resort and Spa in Las Vegas. West Charleston Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada. By the way, beautiful hotel up right next to right across the street from our AAA ballpark. I went down and, like a beat writer, interviewed Scott Emerson, who we had on the program yesterday, our pitching coach, because I want to know from him, what do you think an ace is? So when we get into this, I have my notes from Scott Emerson on what he thinks an ace is.
And then I looked it up. I'll read it later, but I looked it up on MLB. Like I just typed in what is an ace, and MLB.com has their definition of what an ace is. And I'll reveal what they say it is on the website for the league.
Because I believe most teams don't have an ace. And front offices have, in a lot of ways, killed the ace. And one of the reasons why is that our bullpens are bigger than – our bullpens have been built, and we had that discussion with Mark Kotsay. Bullpens are built now to pitch way more innings. So they have taken the versatility off the bench. We've added a player from 25 to 26, but they've taken the versatility away from managers with your bench because they wanted more arms in the bullpen. So you only have 4 guys to work with because everybody is using the max amount of pitchers. You've got 4 guys and one's a backup catcher. So you got 3 guys to play with coming off your bench now. It's really changed the way managers in the depth and the way you use pinch hitting and everything. And one of the reasons why you needed to go away from the National League style of baseball is that with everybody using so many pitchers and having so many pitchers on the roster, I mean, you don't have enough guys to be pinch hitting all the time.
Yeah, Joel Schuemann mentioned on MLB Now earlier that he was at the Mets and Phillies game, and the Mets almost ran out of pitchers, he was saying, because that's the way that they've been using guys and all that. He said they almost ran out of pitchers, which just talks about how many times we mentioned the last few years, how many pitchers we're actually using, how many guys are actually capable of pitching in Major League
we
Baseball.
only had, 8 guys go 200 innings last year?
Yeah, 8, yeah.
Yeah, so we will get into that. We will address that. You let me know when, because I've got what an ace really should be versus what you and your analytics baseball nerds want to bring to that party.
Yeah, we can do it probably after Hogan Harris. We'll have time.
Okay. Last night, the one guy that a lot of people are not going to talk about, obviously, so much is going to be about Jacob Wilson. I think we have to commend Max Schuemann. Max Schumann's not going to get talked about a lot, but Max Schuemann last night was a huge pivotal part of taking 2 out of 3 from the Texas Rangers. And when you look at the game last night, it's like, wow. He comes in, and not only does Schuemann come in and play a part defensively.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even going to think about the 2 plays he made at third base.
The last one he made was great.
And the thing that I've talked about with Schuemann, which is so interesting, is to have a player that – where are we here? The date is what? The 25th?
Yeah, April 25th.
Okay, so I'm trying to get back to last night's box score. So to have a guy that doesn't play a lot and always have a smile on his face, to have a guy that's not going to get a lot of at-bats, that he doesn't know when he's going to play, but he's going to be ready to go. And there's anything that Max Schuemann can do for you on a daily basis, right? He can pinch hit, pinch run, come in, play anywhere for you. But it's not going to happen a lot. And to have a guy that's not going to complain, that's really a big deal to have that kind of player. And the fact that the A's have that guy in Schuemann, it just showed last night how huge that is. And I want to take you back. So not only does he make 2 big plays, but the thing for Max Schuemann, his at-bat. So in the bottom of the 9th inning, Miguel Andujar would ground out to shortstop. Max Schuemann would then come to the plate. It would be a 6-pitch at-bat. And the final pitch that he laid off on was a slider that was outside. But this is a guy coming off the bench. You're in the 9th inning, you're down 1, and you take that pitch and you walk. That patience that he showed on that 3-2 pitch, a slider, how many guys normally are so amped up, you're getting your opportunity, and you roll right over that pitch?
Or you just watch for strike 3. That's kind of
well,
what happens
the
anymore.
fact that he takes it, it was outside. He showed the patience. He showed the discipline. It was a great at-bat. It's a first pitch called strike was a slider. By the way, the home plate umpire last night was brutal. So many of these pitches were not strikes, especially down low. Then it goes ball. So he goes slider. Every single pitch Matt Schuemann would face in this at-bat was a slider. It goes slider for a strike, 2 sliders for a ball, slider for a strike. These are all called. So he has not swung the bat. He didn't swing the bat once in this at-bat. And then he finally takes that last slider, which was like, wow, that was an incredible take. And then you have Urias would hit the ball into center field, a single. Tavares would butcher it.
Yeah.
And Schuemann, Eric Martins talked about with us on the field earlier about just the awareness. So it's just not only the walk, it's the awareness then to score on Tavares butchering that play. Just such a special night last night for Max Schuemann and what he was able to do to come in off the bench. It's, you talk about the young guys, you talk about the guys who are your best players and everything, but it's a night like last night where Max Schuemann played such a pivotal part in keeping the team in the game with his defense, helping score the tying run based off his decision-making, right? The decision-making to watch the pitch and then the decision-making on the bases to score the tying run, and eventually would lead to the moment that we just played, the big moment, Jacob Wilson knocking in the game-winning run.
You asked a question earlier to me and Steve Sachs and Flo, and the producer in the studio at NBC. Is there for one of the diamond notes you want to use? And
yeah,
is there any other guy you want up in that spot than Jacob Wilson? I mean, he delivered his second career walk-off hit in how many games? And now we know about the cool stat about him being at the Coliseum and here, but that's the guy you want up in the situation. You know the guy's going to put the ball in play, and as we saw with the ball that went to center field and Tavares butchered, that's all you need is a ball to be put in play, and you could win the game. That's what we always.
Is there any other guy that you would have rather had last night at the plate than Jacob Wilson?
No. I mean, the only guy I could think of that puts the ball in play, or we think will put the ball in play a lot, it was already taken out of the game. That's Nick Kurtz.
Well, I'll give you Lawrence Butler right now. Last 10 games, I keep reading these notes, and they keep updating, but last 10 games, Lawrence Butler's hitting .302. But, right. But Lawrence Butler in that inning, he flew out to left field. I mean, Lawrence would be an option maybe, but just trying to think. And that gets back to I play manager on this program. That's why I'm batting him second.
Yeah, no, he's not. I mean,
he wouldn't have been. Yeah, if he wasn't batting second, he wouldn't have come up last night.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, well, Hogan's here. I'll get out of the way.
I've always said how much I like Hogan Harris. I've said it. I've said it over and over and over again. And he's joining us right now. Come on in. And we talk about Max Schuemann being the unsung hero last night. How about Hogan Harris last night? Comes back up from AAA Las Vegas. 2 1/3 innings pitched, did not give up a run, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. That was big. I keep telling you, I like your game. We had a lot of fun with you at spring training. We're talking about velocity. Is like, no, this is how hard I throw. This is who I am. But once again, you showed last night, whether you're starting or you're coming in, the value that you have when you put on an athletics uniform. Last night had to feel great for you.
It did. It felt good. It just, luckily over the last couple of years, as I've talked to you about, I've fulfilled all the roles. So now at this point, it's just kind of pitching when I pitch, getting ready to go, whether it's, like I told you, 4 2 outs, 4, 15, whatever the case may be. It did feel nice though to get out there, feet under me quick, even after the walk, just to get, reset, get that out. And like, all right, cool. Now we go again. So, overall, I definitely can't complain about it.
And I know I get very repetitive with this, but people need to understand starting pitchers are about routine. There's your routine the day you pitch, and then there's the routine every single day after you pitch that leads up to your next start. There's things that you do when you throw your bullpen in between starts, when you throw, when you lift, how you go about your business. And then there's the routine about on game day, when you get here, when you go out and you run polls and how you warm up and then you pitch. Yep. So I like to really show people that you guys are such creatures of habit. Well, now I'm going to put you in the bullpen, and there's zero routines. And that's why starters struggle so much when they go to the bullpen, because it changes everything about the essence of how they go about their business. Talk about that, how that's the big change of you need to go from being a super routine guy to you got no routine. Come in and get people out right now.
It took a little while, obviously, to kind of get used to it. I'd say the biggest thing is there is still a routine. The difference is it's at 3 p.m. For a 7 o'clock game instead of right before the game. Like for me personally, I like to just go in, usually an hour for a stretch or so, and then go get my body moving in the weight room, things like that. And then, get a crossword in, just kind of relax. Because at a certain point, that is kind of the fun part about the bullpen, though, is that you never know. So it's like you really can't overthink it. You simply they're like, hey, you're in. I'm like, oh, all right, there we go. So you don't have time to overthink. You just kind of got to trust that, whatever you've scouted for these guys, that's what it is. And then you just go in, and that is also a good thing. You're facing a guy once, maybe twice instead of 3, maybe 4 times. So you can almost attack with your best stuff every time instead of going to their weakness as much, because, you got to plan more accordingly for 3-4 times versus that same guy. Now, obviously if you pitch game 1 and then you pitch again game 3 or 4, you'll probably switch up the way you pitch, but that's the good part. I can just go and be like, okay, this is my good stuff. If you can hit it, you can hit it. But if not, I'm coming at you with my stuff, not what you're bad at.
Now, a lot of that's the mental side.
Sure.
How about the physical side? where I don't know if you're a big long toss guy or however you like some guys, whether you've got the bands, some guys like throwing a football to loosen up the shoulder. Now, phone call goes down, get Hogan Harris up.
Yeah.
You're like 8 tosses, let's go. You got to be ready to go. Physically, how does that work for you?
Luckily, adrenaline takes over. You more don't feel anything until after you're done, if you're sore or whatever the case may be. But one thing I learned for me is, like, for the most part, unless, besides a couple outings last year, I guess, but for the most part, I'll be the guy that tries to bridge 2 to 3 innings, if that's the case most times. So I'll kind of know, and I'll be like, okay, so my routine in the pen now is, I'll get a little bit of weighted balls, I'll get a little bit of bands, get moving or something for just in case in like the 3rd, 4th inning.
So are you anticipating when you see like JT again, there's a little bit of a struggle, some balls have gone out of the ballpark, you're like, this might be the –
Yeah, I mean, kind of like that, but then just in general, like, it doesn't really matter how a guy's doing because, I mean, I've been there where all of a sudden, like, you're cruising through 4 and all of a sudden things flip quick. You know what I mean? It just happens. It's baseball. You could throw great pitches. I mean, they could be hitting balls 75 miles an hour. It doesn't matter, but all of a sudden, hits are hits, no matter what, or a walk is a walk. So you kind of just got to – my thing is I'll just move around a little bit in the 3rd inning, maybe not do bands or anything like that. But I'll just get my body moving. You'll do a few stretches, kind of get the back moving and kind of things like that. So there's – in essence, there's kind of that part of it where just make sure you're not sitting dead still. You know what I mean? Then they call you like, oh, God. Now that's where your mentality becomes a problem. You're like, oh, my God, I haven't done anything. So, I just kind of do 2-3 minutes of something every inning or so once it hits the 3rd, 4th inning, just to kind of know, like, okay, my body's moved around. So if I got to throw now, I'm ready to throw now. So
one of the things I love about your game is the hook, right? And
like
there's something special about the lefty coming in and going, man, I got this thing for a strike. I got this thing. I can throw it. For the strikeout pitch, I can throw it down.
Sure.
I can throw it. I can leave it out on the outer part. For a right-handed hitter, I can bring it right in on him. I mean, there's something about a lefty curveball that's different. Like for right-handed pitchers, you just talk about just that bread and butter. I know I've done this with Barry Zito had that.
Sure.
Is there something special? You lefties, you got this deuce, and it's an ultimate weapon for you.
Sure. Yeah, I really don't know why it is that lefties tend to have that slow curveball, like more than righties.
It's like
I don't
a security blanket.
Yeah, it really is. Well, I actually learned mine, funny enough, from Brent Strom, who was the pitching coach for a while for a few different teams. Yeah. So he taught me when I was 11. I didn't have any muscle on me or anything like that, and he gave me a 5-pound hammer. And he was like, learn how to throw it like that. And obviously, if you sail out or anything like that with a hammer. So the only way I could do when I was 11 was have my wrist like this so it wouldn't hurt or anything like that. So ever since then, it's just I'll throw as hard as I can. But, I mean, you can only get so much whenever your arm's like that. So it kind of just I got lucky. It just kind of – I never really had to try and throw it slower or do anything like that. But, it's been a weapon since I was 11, 12 years old and just kind of kept it ever since. I haven't changed it in 15, 20 years.
Why would you? It's a pitch that you can throw in any count. That to me is always the equalizer because as a hitter, the worst thing you got to be thinking is, This SOB could drop it on me here 3-2, right? Normally 3-2, you think you're getting something hard.
Yeah.
And to me, if I just in the back of my mind, I mean, lefty, you're going to wipe him out.
Yeah.
But like a right-handed hitter, if just in the back of my mind, I know you have that, that's just made your 91, 92 now look 95.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the big part of it. Like we talked about because there are times, a couple years ago where the mechanics weren't really where I wanted, where it kind of became slurvy. It was more hittable than what it is the last year and a half or so that we kind of honed that back in. But there were times where I was like, okay, it's actually not helping me. So we almost thought about getting rid of it for a little while. But luckily, once everything else got back in line, mechanics and everything, that came back. So that was good. But, yeah, it's a huge pitch for me because, like you were saying, it makes 92 look way harder. And then especially on those good days when I'm up to 94, 95, it makes that look real hard because then the curveball still stays 72. It doesn't get any harder when I'm throwing harder just because of the way it comes out of my hand. I'm not really sure why. But it opens up a lot of different avenues on days I'm landing that. So it just gives there was, I think in a bat yesterday, I went changeup off of it because then they've seen the guy before. I went curveball and then I tried to go fastball up. So then all of a sudden I go that curveball and then I go changeup away. Now he pops it up. I can't remember. I think he popped it up to right field or something like that or hit a ground ball. But so then, it opens an avenue way more than one different road. So that's the biggest thing it helps for me, I'd say.
Well, and I think about your role right now. It's so key is the lefty specialist is gone. You got to come in and you got to get righties and lefties out, but you're a starter. You're used to that.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that even when you're down in Las Vegas, I still talk about you up here.
Thank you.
Because I got to keep saying I want to see you start more. I mean, I know I don't make the rules around here and I don't make the lineup, but I haven't forgotten your last start against the Houston Astros.
Sure. Thank you.
I haven't forgotten about that. And I do think starting here for the Athletics is still in your career.
Yeah, I hope so. But at the end of the day, I've been with the A's for 8 years. So it's however I can help them. It doesn't really matter. A job's a job, and I'm happy to have it. And right now, the best fit for me in their eyes is coming in for a few innings and bridging that gap. And that's something I've shown and hopefully continue to show I'm pretty good at. So if that's what helps us right now, because, we got a lot of good power arms right now too. So, I do what I need to do and I just move on,
Let's end on this. You've watched it grow.
Sure.
You're an A's draft pick, so you've been in the system. After last night and the night before with Nick Kurtz, there is a young core that's being built here. It is really exciting. I'm sure you guys were so juiced last night in the clubhouse, shooting the free throws and everything. Just talk about what it's like. I keep saying that the future is now.
It is.
Talk about what this young core looks like and the fun you guys are having in the clubhouse.
Yeah, overall, it's nice because we, in 23, we were real young and there was a lot going on. And, there's a lot of ups, a lot of downs, whether it be injuries, just like performance issues from everybody, including me. It was just a lot of new. And now it's nice because the people that were new a year or two ago are still young enough to help the really new guys like Kurtz and all them. And they're all so young that it doesn't matter. So it's like a good mesh of like the guys that are here for 2-3 days to 2-3 weeks to 2-3 years. They're all still 25 or less, which is crazy. Makes me feel old,
and you're not old.
No, but that makes me feel old. But it's like that perfect mesh. You know what I mean? Where we got 4 or 5 true veterans. We got 4 or 5 guys that have been here a year or two that, like we said, are 25 years or younger. So then those 22-year-olds that come up, they have that comfort. You know what I mean? It's not like whenever Brownie made his debut or whatever in 2019, 18, whatever it was. He had 30. Everyone in the clubhouse was like 30 plus. He was the only rookie. You know what I mean? And I have to imagine that's like super stressful to go into. So it's that perfect mesh, I'd say. And it's fun to watch because we are having fun. And you can tell like there's not that super tense feeling. It's like we're out here, we're just having fun, we're hitting the ball, we're pitching the ball, and the results are starting to show it pretty consistently. So I'm pretty excited to see what goes on the rest of the year.
Good stuff.
All right.
We always love having you on the program.
All right. Appreciate it.
We're always going to be talking about you. I can tell you that. Let's pause for station identification right here on A's Cast. All right, coming. Where are we going next, Cody? What do we got? Aces? Don't get me started on these damn aces next, right here on A's Cast.
Here's the pitch, and it's a hit. Folsom Lake Ford has stepped up again, winning the Triple Crown Award, Ford Motor Company's highest honor, now 7 years in a row. Folsom Lake Ford is a top sales leader in the U.S., along with being top in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Now that's a home run. Don't miss the huge savings on your favorite models at your truck headquarters. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
A's scout Shooty Babbitt joined Chris Townsend on A's Cast Live to talk about the lasting impact Ricky Henderson left on the game of baseball.
I still have my pajamas on because I haven't had the strength of the will to get out to bed because I've been returning texts and phone calls from, I can't tell you how many former players, how many guys in the community that I scouted, guys that I signed, guys that wanted to be like Ricky, guys that Ricky inspired to just be the best because they all wanted to be like him. And it's not often that you have someone that you can look up to. And I think when they start talking about the lack of African-American players in the league these days, well, back in the day, there were so many guys, not many like Ricky, but there were so many that gave you something to dream about because you saw somebody that looked like you. There was somebody that you felt you could be like. Well, if it was Ricky, then you were reaching for the sky. And that's what Ricky made each and every one of us do, is reach as high as we possibly could. Because if we ever reached as high as we could, we would never get to the level that he was. But he set the standard for all of us. And, man, you should hear some of the cap in the game, and some of the guys are sitting, and all of them sitting pictures, popping their collar, and the swag and the love, and how we all wanted to be like Ricky. So his legacy, it will live forever. We have an opportunity and a responsibility as men, women. I'm not excluding anyone here, and pardon me, but we have a responsibility to make sure that we take our time and explain to them who Ricky Henderson was, and not just the best base stealer of all time, but probably in the top 5, if not top 4 baseball players to ever put the uniform on.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
Streaming from West Sacramento, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
All right, I can hear.
Oh, we're back?
Yeah, kinda. Can't fully hear.
Maybe that cable might be bad. It worked on my end, so I think that cable might be bad.
Which cable?
Where the headphone goes in.
Yeah, I can barely hear, but whatever. We're good. It's better than what we had before. It's weird for people to understand in broadcasting that when you talk, you're used to having some type of headphones in your ear.
Correct, yes.
And so when all of a sudden you're speaking and you don't hear anything, but you're just doing it without headphones, it's very odd. To most people, they might be like, well, we normally have conversations without stuff in our ears. But in our business, this is what you're used to. The minute you don't have it, you're like, panic! Panic at the disco.
Did you hear you were wearing the headphones or the IFB whenever you were doing Kotsay, right? And you were able to hear then? And I don't know. Oh, well. That cable might be bad, so I'll switch it out.
Has Shedeur Sanders been? I told you, and I know you're like Draft Central here. I told you, this guy's not that good. What are you talking about? And all this talk, will he be the first pick of the draft? Shedeur Sanders has still not been drafted, son of Deion Sanders. Told you he's not like that whole hype machine that Deion tried to do with his son is the NFL was not buying it. He did not. Mel Kiper had him as the number 1 quarterback, which was a joke. People laughed at it. If you watched him play, he's a one read, no arm. Like, what are you talking about? Where are we now? Where are we now in the draft?
Well, the pick is in. The Niners just took Alfred Collins from D tackle from Texas. He's a road grader. I watched I went back and watched the film because of my draft prep, and
a D tackle would not be a road grader.
He brings his lunch pail to work every day.
That would be an offensive lineman as a road grader. But okay, I hear you.
So we're now on pick number 44 in the second round.
Shanny took a defensive tackle.
That's back-to-back D tackles for the Niners. So they're gearing up in the
defensive line. Did they feel that
line.
Their run defense was a weakness last year?
I guess so. But there was a Sanders drafted. It wasn't Shedeur, though. TJ Sanders, a defensive tackle from South Carolina, went. But there was a quarterback taken. Tyler Slow, the quarterback from Louisville, was taken. So he's the third quarterback taken behind Cam Ward, who went number 1 overall, and the Jackson Dart went to the Giants.
Some of these guys, I know I watched Louisville play, but because I watch a ton of college football, but I don't really remember him.
Yeah, no. He was a transfer kid, too. I forget where he played before Louisville because I never heard of him. I'm like, who the hell is this kid? And I looked and I was like, oh.
How did I can't tell you enough. I think it's one of the greatest sports experiences of my life. Hey, Michael, just turn my headphones up a little bit. Oh, there we go. Going to Green Bay was one of the best sports experiences of my life. Just like going to Fenway Park, Old Yankee Stadium, Wrigley Field. I think it was an honor to work a game at Green Bay. It was, and we just because of the A's connection too. When I was there with the Raiders, an A's employee had left the A's and had gone to work for the Packers. He went back home. He was from Wisconsin, and we were able to get like a total like VIP tour from this guy. I hardly knew him. He didn't work for the A's that we one of our old buddies that we worked with knew him and came on the trip, and so we got like we got to do the Hall of Fame, and we got to go in the lot. We got to do like the tour that they normally do, but we got to go in areas. It was like it's so iconic. Green Bay is such a it's like this iconic venue that's in this just really. This is not a fancy town by any stretch of the imagination. This is very modest homes, one-story homes for the most part. And you're just driving through this neighborhood, and then poof, there's the stadium. Yeah. Right. Now they've bought up a lot of the area around that, and so there's all kinds of restaurants, bars. There's a Top Golf. There's all that, but the experience. I say to anybody, if you're a sports fan, especially if you love the NFL, you got to go to Green Bay. Got to go to Green Bay. Lambeau Field, it's an experience. Their Hall of Fame, when you go in there, it's like going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I remember
it truly is amazing.
I remember you always talking about it. I have never been to Green Bay yet. It's not that I don't want to go there. It's just I haven't had the Steelers don't really play in Green Bay that much. So I don't know but I would like to go see the stadium. But I haven't seen any of I didn't watch any of the drafts because we were here, so I didn't see what it looked like there. I just saw the videos on social media of Mel Kiper being pissed that no one took Shedeur Sanders. But I'm sure it was great because, it's probably not that cold in Lambeau right now in April. So in Green Bay, so it would have been great.
No. I when I was there, it was early in the season. I was in shorts and in a golf polo, and the Raiders on the sidelines. It was beautiful.
Just so you know, the Raiders pick is coming up soon. So we'll update you on that.
It's a little different when it's the frozen time. Remember the Niners played Colin Kaepernick was still the quarterback. They played that game in Green. Yeah. Jim Harbaugh wore like 4 pairs of khakis.
Didn't he have Kaepernick had like 170-something yards rushing that game? I'm pretty sure.
Who?
Kaepernick did. I remember he had a big run in that game.
I just remember how freezing cold it was. I can't even imagine doing a game like that.
Oh.
Can't it? All right, let's get to Aces. When are we getting to when are we going to Cop 545?
Yeah, towards the end, yeah.
So it fries a lot of us who have been around the game for a long time of what they've done to pitching. They have, whenever you take the guy with the ball and make the guy with the ball not a star, it's bad for your game, right? Think about the stars. We're just talking about football. Who are the biggest stars in football? It's the quarterbacks. It's the guys with the ball. Point guards, for the most part, are either a star or one of your top players, right? The centers in hockey, your number one line in hockey, your center, the guy who's distributing the puck and shooting the puck, is a big deal. The guy with the object is the big deal. And we have minimized that, and it's been bad for our game. Because when you see a big matchup like Skeens and Yamamoto tonight, people go, hey, listen, we got a big pitching matchup. When you take away the guys, when you make it about unnamed relievers, let's face it, I don't care about the Chicago White Sox bullpen. Am I talking out of school here?
Wow. Well, I don't even know who's in their bullpen. Liam Hendricks isn't there anymore.
Okay. Turn my microphone up, Michael. Turn my microphone up. Turn it up. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. Perfect. Isn't that a problem? When these guys down in these bullpens down here are going to play a prominent role in these next 3 games, and nobody knows who they are.
Yeah, no, it is. Especially for a team that's I don't want to speak poorly about them, but the team is not very good.
All right, Texas Rangers were just here. Who the hell's in their bullpen?
Couldn't tell you. I mean, I know who they are, but it's not star guys.
Who are they?
Yeah.
So in football, every single Sunday, you're watching games, and everybody knows who the receivers are and the quarterbacks and the running backs and the tight ends because they're playing fantasy football. And those guys are playing. Obviously, football will always be about blocking and tackling. I get that. That is the heart of the game. The game is really won inside the trenches. You don't turn the ball over. There's certain fun. But for the fans, the guys that score the points, the kicker, we know who the kickers are.
Correct.
Why? Years ago, we didn't care who the kickers were unless they missed the kick. Now we care about who the kickers are because it's fantasy football. We don't care about defenses really per se, the actual certain, unless you're a star pass rusher or you're a star corner. But we care about the defenses. Why? Because defenses give us points in fantasy football. Who are these guys who play such a pivotal role in our game? I don't know who the hell these guys are. Who are these guys? I can't remember if it was somebody had the great line. It might have been Ken Rosenthal, or it was either Rosenthal or Joel Schuemann who said, the Tampa Bay Rays, just a bunch of big, tall white guys who throw hard, and they're a bunch of nameless, faceless guys.
I think that was Rosenthal.
Was it Rosenthal? Yeah. And it was true. It's like every guy's 6'4", 6'5". Everybody throws hard, and they all look the damn same.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
And you know what? It was true. And it was like, you know what? This is what I get it. The Rays are doing everything they can to win, but how does that sell? We're in the entertainment business. How does that sell? So the whole point is we've killed the ace, and now all of a sudden people want to start acting like, because we got a bunch of young kids who throw hard and strike people out. Oh, we got aces again. And it's like, that's not true. If I go Mike Gundy, that's not true. I'm a man. I'm 40. Look it up. It's one of the great after game. So I went and said, okay, Scott Emerson, what do you think is an ace? An ace has got to give you over 30 starts a year. Yep. That is non-negotiable.
Agree.
Okay? Are we good with that?
I agree, yes.
He's got to give you at least 180. I'm a 200 innings guy, but Scott Emerson said, Towny, you're a dinosaur. We got to be honest. An ace has to at least give you 180 a year.
I'm more with you with the 200, but yes.
I'll go new school. I'll say, okay, 180. I want 200, but I'll go 180 because what is 180 and 30? It's probably around 6 innings to start.
Yeah.
Okay. Ks per 9. You got to have a K per 9. You got to have a K per inning.
Yeah, because they consider. I looked this up because I was curious. They consider average like 7.7 K per 9 is like average, and then anything above that it becomes above average and excellent.
K's 3-1, 3-1 to walks.
Yeah.
You got to have electric stuff. You don't have to have. This is according to Scott Emerson. I'm reading from Scott Emerson. I was Martin Gallegos today. I didn't have a microphone. I had a pad and paper, and I went down and asked questions.
Old school journalism.
Just like I went back to my San Jose State journalism days. I went down, and I did pad and paper. I wanted to bring a typewriter, but no one could find one.
Do we still have those anywhere? I'm sure you
look it up. There's my man. Look
I'm sure
it up.
Jack has one.
Jack, can you find me a typewriter? Can I go old school?
A typewriter. Can you find us a typewriter?
Exactly. He goes, typewriter. All right, so I went down old school beat writer. Execute all your pitches. You got to execute all your pitches. An ace, ask Dave Stewart. Fastball, curveball, slider, of course, the great forkball. You got to execute all your pitches. And you got to be able to pitch backwards. Like we just talked with Hogan Harris. When they're looking fastball, you got to be able to drop that hook in there. You got to be able, when it's a fastball count, you got to be able to throw something for a strike that's not a fastball.
I agree with all this.
This is what an ace is. So Garrett Crochet, who just got the 170, 75, whatever the hell it was. What do you get from the Red Sox?
I think it's 175.
Garrett Crochet is a strikeout machine. But Garrett Crochet, what's the most starts he's ever had in a year? Because he was a reliever.
It was last year.
What was it?
Let me look. Because he didn't even go 150 innings.
Yeah, so he's not even at the 180.
He went Last year, he's only made 38 career starts. So last year
So he's not an ace.
he made 32 starts last year, actually.
He made 32 starts.
But remember,
last
they're
year?
limiting his innings. He only had 146 innings.
Okay, so he's done it once, but how many innings?
He's done 146.
Okay, so he's not an ace. Until he can prove he can do this and have a little wear and tear, can't do it. Let's go to your guy, Paul Skeens. Skeensy, as you like to call him.
The guy that started in AAA that shouldn't have.
All right. 23 starts, 133 innings. How can you be an ace? What, he strikes out a lot of people. By the way, the ERA is a little up this year, Cody.
It's early. Everyone say that it's early. It's early.
There's not even pine tar on the bat. Garbage. But he should do that this year.
Yes.
Okay. Right? But he hasn't done it yet.
I don't think they have any plans of shutting him down early. So
they're talking about 2 Skeens going tonight. So Yamamoto, let's check Yamamoto. Let's see what he did last year. His first year in the big leagues, he made 22. Oh, excuse me. He made 18 starts.
Because he got hurt too.
He made 18 starts. How many innings do you think Yamamoto had? We're calling him an ace. We're talking 2 aces tonight. Paul Skeens, who didn't even come close to 180
the Dodgers used him like the second most starters in baseball last year. So I'm going to say he had like 104 innings.
Wow.
Was that?
You're not even close. He only had 90.
Oh.
So they're trying to say star. We're having 2 aces tonight. A guy that, what did I just say Skeens went last year?
133.
133 innings, and Yamamoto, who went 90.
Mind you, he went 133.
These are aces.
133 and 23 starts, where Garrett Crochet had 13 more innings and 10 plus more starts.
Oh, I forgot.
9 more starts.
I forgot. I got to put a star around this on my Martin Gallegos. I'm a beat writer pad here. Beats good teams. Got to beat good teams, according to Scott Emerson, the pitching doctor. You want to be an ace, you got to beat good teams.
Well, Paul Skeens beat the Nationals this year.
Beating the Rockies and beating the
Nats
and beating the White Sox. You got to beat good. Yes, you got to win.
You can only beat the teams in the schedule ahead in front of you.
You got to win.
But I agree with that also.
All right. So what tells me I'm just trying to figure out what. So I would love if we could push these kids a little more and we could have some star power again.
Yeah.
Right? Because Paul Skeens showed us this year when they had that bobblehead. Who's the owner?
Bob Nutting.
And they promised every single person who bought a ticket would get a bobblehead.
Because the line was literally wrapped around. You go out of the ballpark across the Roberto Clemente Bridge and then wrapped around down on the river, like the road along the river. That's how long people are waiting to get this bobblehead.
If you don't look it up, it was a sight. It shows you star pitching still works, and to watch everybody in a town rally around a pitcher, a guy that goes once every 5 days like we used to. When Nolan Ryan pitched, I remember when I was a kid, when Nolan Ryan came to San Diego, Dad took us to the game because we were going, Padres sucked, and we were going to watch it. We weren't there to see the Padres. We were there to see Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
Because Nolan Ryan, I drove up. What was the old paper? It was in the late 90s that Frank DeFord put on. Go look it up. It was a newspaper that Frank DeFord put together. What was the name of it?
Well, sorry, I was fixing something on StreamYard.
Frank DeFord paper. He put a paper together. It was in the late 80s, early 90s.
I'm looking. The National Sports Daily? No.
What was the name of it? God, and people loved it.
The National Sports Daily.
I'm also seeing Grantland.
No,
Grantland was
called the National.
Bill Simons.
It was called the National.
Yeah,
and
National Sports Daily.
I'll never forget it because I got it. I was in high school. I'll never forget it. It was like Nolan Ryan's last appearance in Southern California. And I saw that and I went, I got to go. So I drove in my Volkswagen Bug up I-5 in Southern California.
I'm just trying to picture this now.
In Southern California, this drives Northern California people nuts. In Southern California, we would have said the 5 because you put the and the in front of everything.
My wife still says it all the time.
Drove up the 5. Yeah, take that, Clownson.
Never heard that until earlier.
Whoever has been calling me Clownson on social media, I tip my hat to you. That's funny.
Just like we had to explain to our PAs who do a great job hosting A's All Night, right, recapping the game.
Yes.
They got their first negative comment.
But I want to throw it out there. Whoever invented Clownson, I tip my cap to you. That's actually funny because someone sent that to me. I went, that's good. That's good. Hey, a good rag is a good rag.
I never would have thought of Clownson. That's good.
That's very good. So you put the C, clown.
Yeah, I know.
Clownson.
Are they gonna put your face on as a clown?
I don't know. It's pretty.
Shirt?
Trust me. In college baseball is where ragging was king, right? And I have great stories of being ragged in college. One of the great stories I have about being ragged in college, got to have a thick skin to play college baseball, was Fresno State my senior year, Valentine's Day. Packed house, and they were all over me. Great rags. You respect it. So whoever out there invented Clownson, I respect. That's a good one.
I'm waiting for people to start wearing the T-shirts.
I think it's funny. It's funny. You appreciate it. Where was I going?
I was trying to think of where we were going with this.
Something about Aces. I got sidetracked.
National Sports Daily.
Oh yeah. So I drive it up.
Yes, there we go.
I think I was a senior in high school, or I just graduated, and I'm Volkswagen Bug going up I-5, and I went to the Big A because this was going to be Nolan Ryan's last time. Because Nolan Ryan was God to all of us pitchers back in the day. He's Nolan freaking Ryan. Go check out the strikeout records. If everybody's concerned about strikeouts now, go look at the strikeouts. Nobody was like him. No one will touch this record. You've had great strikeout pitchers from Randy Johnson and Roger Clemens. Nobody's close to him. That's how great Nolan Ryan was. And you want to talk about a guy who played on bad teams? Nolan Ryan could have won well over 400 games.
If he put on a good team.
So, if he would have played his entire career with the A's, he would have won over 400 games because he would have gone through so many stretches of good A's baseball. But the funny thing about it was, how many more years after that did Nolan Ryan pitch after I got in the Volkswagen Bug and drove up there on the I-5?
I'm going to say at least 5 or 6.
Had to have. He pitched till he was like 46.
Well, you would see. I'm just putting it together with your age and when you would have graduated high school.
It was like 1990.
So, yeah, I think
What was Nolan Ryan's last year? When his arm finally blew in Seattle and walked off the mound at the Kingdome. Said, that's it.
His final year was 1993.
Oh, so it was only a couple more years after that.
Yeah, but he's 46 years old.
Yeah, I remember there. This is the last. I'm like, Nolan Ryan's last. So I went up there to Anaheim. I think in that game also he hit Dante Bichette, a young Dante Bichette. That's when the old Big A was enclosed because the Rams were still playing there because the Rams wouldn't leave till 95. And so it was enclosed, and there was a packed house because people thought this was Nolan Ryan. And Nolan Ryan, some of his best years were as an Angel, right? So it was a big deal, him coming back, and this was his last go-around. And he hit Dante Bichette. Bichette went down. And
this is a young one. I would say he was a big guy.
He's a big guy then. Dante Bichette was a big dude, and walked him off the field. He was done for the night. You got hit in the head by Nolan Ryan. It was night's over.
Yeah,
I'll never forget. And when he hit him, it echoed in the. You heard it, Moneyball. You heard it.
Oh yeah,
all over it, ricocheted all over the ballpark. The old Scouts Moneyball scene. You used to have that.
They're on that computer, but
yeah, Nolan Ryan. Can we bring back the star? My whole point is I'm all in on the star pitcher. Let's bring the star pitcher. Like Luis Severino's going tonight, right? I'm all in on Sevy.
Yeah, I mean, he won 8 innings, only had one, so didn't have a high strikeout rate that we talked about, but he beat the Brewers.
Great question last night by our guy Nate, our engineer Nate, because I said my favorite game of the year. He asked me, is this, because, it changes so often of what your favorite game of the year is. And was last night the walk-off by the Wonder Kid. He's like, I don't want to call him Harry Potter, but he does have the magic wand.
It's fine.
It's cheesy as hell.
That's okay. That's all right. We're a cheesy show sometimes.
Harry Potter's kind of over with, right?
No, I think they're making another movie. I don't know if it's with the same cast, but I think
there's only 2 wands. I remember there was only 2 wands.
Yeah, I think they're
him
doing...
and Voldemort.
Don't say his name.
I know. Nate said that too. What is wrong with you people?
Say his name and he shall appear. The Dark Lord.
The Dark Lord. You guys are such dorks. Are you serious? Nate said,
I didn't even read the books.
Huh?
I just watched the
I didn't read
movies.
the books either. My wife was like, you got to watch it with me. All right.
My wife read the books, and I was like, I'll watch some movies with you.
Did I ever tell you about the time? This is really going off topic. Did I ever tell you about the time I took my kids to Universal Studios and I figured out the cheat code to the ride?
No.
Okay. I'm going to let everybody in on a little secret. I have a cheat code that I discovered at Universal Studios for the Harry Potter ride. How much time do you?
We got like less than 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna hold off on this. But if you're going to be going to Universal Studios, and I am a rides person, right? When I go, like I've taught my girls, we go and we ride rides all day. That's why we are here.
Well, yeah.
As
exactly.
you want to go have breakfast and do the Mickey pancakes all day long.
That's my wife.
And
not me.
can we go get breakfast and lunch? No, we're here to ride rides. Suck it up. I want to do over 30 rides. Magic Mountain, we're going over and over. I mean, Space Mountain over and over again. I am a rides junkie. I'm dragging these kids. And now, as they've gotten older, they're all in. We'll do every ride. And then we'll go over to California. We're going to do every ride. I love it's now, they've changed the name of it. It's a great ride. The roller coaster over at Disney California.
The Incredible Coaster.
Incredible Coaster. But what was it? It was California Screaming.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great ride.
I'm a big Radiator Springs guy. The Cars ride.
Oh, you're soft, aren't you?
That's such a the line's always the longest for that.
I want California Screaming. California, what is it? Where you go up and you're
the soaring over California.
Soaring California.
Yeah.
You're more. That's actually.
I never rode that one. Actually.
I can smell this. I can smell soft. I want fast. I want to go upside down. I want to go. Let's go. We're doing rides.
You don't want to go ride It's a Small World?
I remember my kids were really young, and I'm told my wife, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm taking them on Space Mountain. She goes, no, you are not. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, they won't pass the height requirement. I'm tell them just to raise their feet up a little bit.
I was going to say, put
the hoodie on, put your hood on.
Put lifts in it, like the episode of Seinfeld where Mickey put him in his shoes when he was acting.
First time I took my kids on Space Mountain, they loved it. And since then, they've become ride junkies too. Let's go. Let's go. All right, coming up next. We got the Mark Kotsay show.
We still haven't finished the Aces thing, I don't think. I think there's still more to that.
There's more to the Aces, but I have a cheat code for Universal Studios. If you're going to be taking your family to Universal Studios this year, Harry Potter ride, the line is forever. Everybody, because all the Harry Potter dorks love going. And when I say dorks, I'm being affectionate. I love you.
I just love that every time.
Michael, it's okay. The nerd thing is okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I just always enjoy every time we talk about Voldemort. We both always go, the Dark Lord.
He's not coming. You know, he's now M
in James Bond.
On
yes.
James Bond. I was watching. It was one of the James Bond. I'm like, that's the guy that plays Voldemort.
Yeah. He's also in a really good movie called The Menu.
He's an English actor.
Yeah,
He's a great actor.
Fiennes, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great actor. But I remember I'm watching it. I'm watching that. It was one of the last James Bonds. I'm like, that's Voldemort.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you a cheat code for Universal Studios, and we'll finish on Aces and why we need Aces. Because you analytics guys want to get rid of Aces because you don't want guys pitching deep into games.
Third time through the order.
Are you now in on them again?
Helps the product. Oh, I'm all in.
All right. Aces, cheat codes, Mark Kotsay. That's a show. That's A's Cast Live.
Get your group together and check out all our great hospitality spaces for bonding opportunities, events, or a fun outing of your friends and family. There are 20, 50, and 100-person indoor suites available for select games, as well as an 80-person open-air area with a shaded cover. Secure your group today at athletics.com/hospitality. Lawrence Butler joined Chris Townsend on A's Cast Live to express his gratitude to the A's after securing his 7-year contract extension.
I mean, it's a surreal feeling. I mean, like you said, I love this organization. You know, they were the only organization that took a chance on me out of high school, you know, in the draft. And, you know, I thank them solely for that. And, you know, I'm just thankful and I'm just grateful, you know, humble to be, you know, chosen to, you know, be able to have this opportunity. And, you know, I wouldn't want it with any other organization than the A's because, you know, they've shown me love since day one. And, you know, I've loved them, you know, 100% back. And, you know, it's just been a mutual thing that, you know, me and the A's have, you know, grown to become, you know, a great relationship with everybody in the organization from top to bottom.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast. For just $25, fans can sit in the general admission outfield grass for all regular season home games. Tickets for that day's game will open up daily at 9 a.m. for purchase at athletics.com/lawn. Sign up to receive A's alerts to receive a text the first morning of each home series as a reminder. For more information, visit athletics.com/lawn. A's first baseman Tyler Soderstrom was on A's Cast Live with Chris Townsend and discussed his ability to play multiple positions if asked to.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like with anything, you got to go out and get the reps and kind of learn the position. Every position has kind of a learning step. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely have the athleticism, I feel like, to play anywhere on the field. I mean, I feel like shortstop in the bigs would be a little bit of a stretch, but maybe, yeah. I mean, I could.
You could play third?
Could
you play third base?
Yeah, I mean, I could play third, play first, corner, outfield spot. I mean, I would feel really comfortable in any of those situations. I mean, obviously, you'd have to put some time in and kind of, like I said, learn the position and what it entails. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like my athleticism really carry me anywhere I need to go.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/A'sCast.
You're listening to A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
All right, before we get back into Aces and the talk, we want to promote this for the great Vittorio DiBartolo and the marketing team here with the Athletics. As a top hitter in the American League and now a walk-off game winner, Jacob Wilson can do everything. Celebrate this thrilling win with a 2-for-20 limited-time walk-offer to be there for the next must-see moment during upcoming home games. So go to athletics.com/flash sale for this. That's athletics.com/flash sale. It ends on Monday, April 28th at 11:59 p.m. So if you want to get a 2-for-20 limited-time walk offer, go to athletics.com/flash sale.
And don't forget the basketball jersey tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
They took from us.
Yeah, well, apparently we're going to get one back. I'm putting it on the screen right now. It. There it is right there on the screen. If you're for everyone watching, I was
going to wear it for today's show.
Wear tomorrow on NBC and the A's Cast on NBC Sports California. No, you and Sax wearing those tomorrow. That's actually not a bad idea. Sax with his.
They took it away from us.
I can make a call and get you guys a couple. I know some people here.
Well, we just got kicked out of our conference room for tonight's game.
Well, you got a high-level security meeting, so I mean, if Jason Silva wants to kick us out, he can.
So I told Jason Silva, don't worry, we're just going to go out to the parking lot in the dirt area and start a bonfire and listen to it on a transistor radio. And then I'll come back in. Do it again.
Oh, boy.
Adapt or die.
Got to adapt. As Billy Bean said, Brad Pitt, adapt or die. So when we do the postgame show tonight, and they go, hey, did you see that in the sixth inning? No, I was out in the parking lot.
I couldn't see the game. I didn't have anywhere to watch it.
No, yeah. I was like, we're going to start a bonfire in the parking lot in the dirt area and listen to Ken Korak on a transistor radio.
Actually, we went
Johnny D.
Actually, we just went over to Sax's house and watched it.
Just go back to our hotel room.
Yeah. The dirt lot.
That's the way it should be. We should sit outside and listen to Ken Korak and Johnny D on a transistor radio. That's baseball.
Isn't that was that John Sterling's thing? That's baseball, Susan. Right? Is that what he always said?
I don't know. I do know this. Don't do that. Listen to A's Cast on your phone or on any of your devices. You can get it on the iHeart app or go to athletics.com/A's Cast.
Don't forget,
and hit play.
And you can also listen on KSTE too.
And yes, on terrestrial radio. And you can watch it on YouTube and you can watch it on X. at AthleticsCast24.
And check you out on Ace Cast on NBC Sports California. Coming up at 6:30.
We're on a lot of different places. If people go,
You can't
I can't
us.
find you. Well, then you know what? You're a moron. If you can't find us, you got to figure it out. Okay, quickly on the cheat code. When you're at Universal Studios and you get done with the ride, the Harry Potter ride, they push you into the gift shop. Okay? You can go out the gift shop. You'll see where the line is. There's two doors, right? They push you out back into Harry Potter land, not that door. It's the other door where you can actually see the line. You can see the line that's for Harry Potter. Go through that door, go through the line, and that's where you go to the single rider line. Most people don't know that. And you can ride Harry Potter ride over and over and over and over again. They do not, like most places, especially like Disneyland, they really advertise the single rider line. The Harry Potter doesn't. And this is the way that you can just keep going. But with my kids, I did it so much because it's one of those rides where it's weird. It's not, they sit you and then they take you around and move you around. They have those, it's kind of like cranes. They move you around.
Oh,
It's a lot of like this. So after I did it so many times, it was killing my neck. But people were waiting for like 2 hours. I'm like, this is a single rider line. Like, you just get off and go back on. We were getting on like every 5 minutes where people were waiting 2 hours to be on it.
Yeah, that's all.
Cheat code, bro.
It's brutal.
The Townsend family, we are a ride-oriented family. I'm like John Gruden when we go to a park. We are structured and we're riding rides. Oh, I want to have fun and I want to go get a Slurpee. No, you're not going to get the flavored ice.
My wife's
we're riding rides.
They always want to get Dole Whip.
No, you know what we always do? Hey, we'll go get we'll go to downtown Disney. We'll get the big dinner. We'll do that.
Yeah.
But we're snacking all the way through. By the way, the beignets, in New Orleans Square, they're in the back near the bathroom. The beignets and the coffee, they're in New Orleans. That's another hidden gem at Disneyland. I've been going to Disneyland growing up in Southern California my entire life. I've done Disneyland a million. Whatever you need to know, I could help. I can tell you where every bathroom is. I can do it all.
I got in trouble going to that place there because I took Dina's, my wife's grandfather, who was a diabetic, type 1 diabetic, to there, and he was like, do you want anything to drink? I'm like, yeah, I'll do a hurricane. He goes, you know what? I'll have one too. And then everyone came over and we're drinking hurricanes.
And it's just sugar. But you're not drinking a real hurricane.
No, it's
a real hurricane.
I had one of those in New Orleans. Yeah,
is
I didn't
awful
drink
cheap booze.
I didn't drink after that night.
A hurricane in New Orleans is just liquid crap. It's cheap booze with cheap red, like Kool-Aid like flavor. It's awful.
Yeah, so I ended
it's throw up juice.
I ended the night at like 1:30 in the morning with that.
Oh yeah, that's bad. That is bad. All right.
Aces.
If we could get back to Aces, it would be something special because it would promote a big part of our game. Like Luis Severino tonight. Luis Severino, getting back to what my favorite outing, that outing in Milwaukee was nothing but spectacular.
Yeah, and I mentioned, you know,
0 walks.
1 strikeout.
1 strikeout. You don't have to strike people out to be an ace.
That's why
you don't.
That's why when I heard earlier on MLB Now, they were talking about you have to have, the question was, can you thrive in, like, essentially, can you thrive in today's baseball with a low strikeout rate? Because they're talking about Corbin Burns and how his strikeout rate's down. And the answer is yes. I mean, you're seeing guys do it. Justin Steele's a good example.
I get that. Like, if you're going to completely change, but he was never a strikeout guy. If you're never a strikeout guy.
I mean, Logan Webb is a decent strikeout guy. I mean, he has the inflated number this year, but his numbers are always been up in the above average category.
He's a sinker guy.
Yeah.
When you're a sinker guy, you're not normally a huge strikeout guy. The sinker is something that
I don't think Framber Valdez is a big strikeout guy. And
no.
He's a very good pitcher. He's having a down year this year. But
Tom Glavine is one of the great pitchers of all time, was not a huge strikeout guy. Greg Maddux wasn't known as a huge strikeout guy. You can look at plenty of people
Mark Burley wasn't one
in the Baseball Hall of Fame who are not huge strikeout guys. You don't have to be a huge strike. You know, this new book that's out on Earl Weaver, we want to get the author.
Booked them Wednesday. John Miller is his name.
Yeah.
John W. Miller.
Is he going to send us a copy?
Oh, I'll have to ask him.
Yeah. I mean, Earl Weaver was such an interesting manager, the old manager of the Baltimore Orioles, where we're learning that he grew up in a much different time. He grew up in St. Louis, and he grew up around gambling. And so his uncle was a big bookie. So the rackets, as they used to call it, they used numbers, right? How to set the over and under for games. They did all kinds of side bets back in the day, just like they did now. And Earl Weaver used kind of gambling metrics on how to build the Baltimore Orioles. I can't wait to have this author on.
Yeah.
Right? As much as baseball is so taboo, gambling, it's not taboo anymore. We are going to have, with us transitioning to Las Vegas, when you go to Nevada, sports fans view games, they're used to what is the money line? What is the over and under? That's what they are used to. And so, bringing the starting pitcher back, that plays to it also. And no one believed more in pitching and defense than Earl Weaver did.
Well, he had, Palmer and
he had 4 20-game winners, for God's sake.
Flanagan. They've always had, back in the heyday of the Orioles, that's what they were.
But wouldn't it be nice tonight to sit here and be talking about, you know what? You're going to have Luis Severino. He's going to go 7 or 8. And then you're going to have – but you know what I got tonight? I got Sean Burke, who pitched well on opening day and hasn't pitched well since. And then I got a bunch of I'm looking out right now. The White Sox are taking BP, and they got a bunch of relievers out there shagging. I could walk out there and just look them in the face and go, I don't know who the hell these guys are.
The guys we did know, they're like Liam Hendricks is now a Red Sox. Like the guys we did know, they're there. None of them are there anymore. It's all they're in a true rebuild. But yeah, they were supposed to use an opener, but I guess they switched back to Evan Burke.
We have an interesting conversation. Oh, 2 things I want to get in. There's another thing I want to get into real quick.
You got about 3 minutes.
Okay. We have talked about, we're going to delve into this a little bit more, and that goes into my whole thing where we have said, where do you want to put the majority of your money? Because the A's, just because of Springs and Severino, 69.9% of our payroll is going to pitching. That's the highest in baseball.
Well,
now, the White Sox are the highest in baseball, where the most of their payroll is going to their hitting, 74.3. If I was building a team today, I would do the majority would be I would put my money in position players because of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You want to put all your money in pitching, pitchers get hurt. We don't allow guys to go deep anyway. All these unknown relievers who throw hard, by the way, they're cheap. They don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of the guys are Rule 5 guys, waiver claims. That's what the Orioles and the Rays have done for years. They've just been waiver claiming guys and using them and running them into the ground and then starting the process over again.
The other thing to look at before we get to Mark Kotsay, we kind of brought it to your attention yesterday, and I think it really, really is interesting, and it is the 4 runs or more.
Oh, yeah.
The race to 4. I never thought of the game like this. The great Jim Cott, now a Hall of Famer, Kitty Cott, as they called him. It was really a brilliant observation where he talked about how it's 4 runs. You get to 4 runs, and the odds of you winning. So in 2025, if your team gets to 4 runs or more, the average winning percentage for your team is 738.
Yeah. That was entering yesterday, yeah.
Entering yesterday.
Well, went up a little bit probably because the A's won.
A's won. They got to 4 runs, and they won.
They're now 9-5.
If you're 3 runs or less in a game, your winning percentage is 218. 738 versus 218. I never thought about the game like that. But right now in 2025, it shows, for the most part, a winning clip of 738. You get to 4 runs or more, you're winning.
Yeah, and I believe the worst team in the league when it comes to the 3 runs or less is the Twins. I think they're 0-13 after being shut out yesterday by the White Sox. The A's now, after scoring 4 runs last night, they're now 9-5 in games they score 4 more runs. So another positive step in the right direction for the organization. But scoring 4 runs, I never thought of either. And I saw that note, and I was like, all right, let me research, see what the A's are. And it's like 9-5. Sorry, I didn't do the winning percentage since it's been updated, but it's over 500.
Get to 4 runs.
Yeah.
Get to 4 runs. You want to get to Kotsay here?
If we do Kotsay now, we're still going to have like 2 minutes left. So would you rather do it like that, or do you want to do it where we can just end with Kotsay?
Is there anything else that I've forgotten that we really want to get into today? Aces.
Oh, real quick.
Aces hopefully are coming back, but don't be calling these guys that give you 130 innings an ace. You're going to call people an ace. You got to have 30 starts. You got to beat good teams. You got to throw over 180 innings. There's real qualifications if we're going to talk aces.
I'll give you a list real quick.
Luis Severino.
This is from ESPN a few weeks ago. I think we went over. Our buddy Kylie McDaniel did it, and it was about how he ranked the aces or who are aces in baseball according to him.
All right.
Skubal
Yes.
won the Cy Young. Skeens was 2.
Skeens not an ace. He's a star young pitcher.
Yeah.
He's not an ace yet. What has he done to be an ace?
Zach Wheeler.
Wait. What has Paul Skeens done to be an ace?
Nothing yet. I agree with you.
He hasn't had a full season.
No. Hopefully it's this year. I'm just trying to get through the list before
All
we
right.
get. Wheeler's 3rd. I think he's an ace.
Zach Wheeler?
Yes.
Zach Wheeler's like a prehistoric dinosaur roaming the earth. Yes. For God's sakes, a man who takes the ball every 5 days and gives you starts and innings. And dude, Zach Wheeler's badass.
All right, I got about 30 seconds. Crochet, no. Chris Sale, maybe.
When healthy, yes.
6 is Framber Valdez.
Yes.
And then he has a second tier one, which we can get into another time because we can play Kotsay.
It's very rare to find guys who can give you a ton of starts and innings and have all the qualifications of beat good people, be durable, show up every single year, be able to pitch backwards, execute, have electric stuff. Like Zach Wheeler is that guy.
Totally agree.
There's not many like him.
Yeah, no, there's not. There's a guy that I think is an ace, but a lot of people disagree with me on, and we'll save that. That's a tease.
Well, we're not doing this again, so what is it?
Real quick, I think Logan Webb's an ace. And I'm not a Giants fan, but he goes almost 200 innings every year, makes 30-plus starts.
It's hard to do. I used to, you know what? Remember when I was against that, but it was like he had to prove it.
Yeah.
And he really has.
Yeah.
I'll give that to you.
Thank you.
I'll give you Logan Webb.
All right, let's get the Kotsay.
He's a good dude, too. It's now time. It's Friday, so that means it's now time for the Mark Kotsay Show. By the way, we'll be back when?
Monday. 2:30.
What do we got?
I haven't got anything yet. We're playing the Rangers, so not a Rangers person. Not a Rangers person
Did you
yet.
hear about the Rangers TV guy?
Yeah, we
Wow. Little lippy. We'll see the Rangers, and we'll see you, A's Cast Live, on Monday at 2:30. Here is the Mark Kotsay Show. For the Mark Kotsay Show right here on A's Cast Live, brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford. I got to think last night in the clubhouse after the game was pretty spirited. Just tell us what it was like, that walk-off win, the first one here in West Sacramento.
Yeah, no, it was a great night. Obviously, anytime you can walk off and, celebrate a victory, it definitely electric. There was a lot of energy in the clubhouse last night. It was a big win for us playing the divisional leaders in the Rangers and a team that, we have had some success against them. Last season, I think we played them pretty well. But for them to have a lead last night into the ninth and their closer on the mound, for us to make that comeback and win the series, it's good. It was a good message. It was good for the team, for us, and I think we'll build off that win.
People don't really think about it, but the majority of the early schedule has been against the National League. So it was nice to play someone in division. You started the season with the Seattle Mariners and you split. Now you take 2 out of 3 from Texas. You have an over 500 record in division, but nice to be back in the American League.
Yeah, it is. Anytime you're in the division, the importance of wins. And we talked about that prior to the series that, if we want to be in contention in the division, we've got to play good in the division. And, the start of the year so far with the Mariners and the Rangers, both two teams that have winning records, for us to, split a series and win a series, that's a good sign.
So I asked Shea Langoliers this after the game 2 nights ago. I asked Jacob Wilson this. When you start looking at the young core, you're looking at your catcher and your first baseman, and Geloff's going to be here playing second base at some point, and you got Wilson at short, and you think about Sodi now out in left field, and Blade and Butler. You just start looking at Mason Miller coming out of the bullpen. Do you really get the sense the last 2 nights of seeing the young core in the future, but the future is now?
Well, I think I've had that vision for over a full season, probably, of the young core, what it could be, and my job of just kind of mentoring it, teaching the group the game, both on and off the field. They're a young group. There's no question about it. If you look at that, Kurtz, Wilson, Soderstrom, Butler. Age, it's all 24 or under, and
really young.
Yeah, that's young. So Shea Langoliers is almost an old man in that group. He's 27, right? Yeah. I think so. There's definitely a youthfulness about the group and the roster, but there's a good blend as well with some of the older guys that still are here and contributing in the Anduhars and the Browns. And, you consider Schuemann older. I mean, he's got 1 year of big league time. So, but from an age standpoint, those guys can help them, both on and off the field.
Oh, veterans are huge. And you think about the guy going tonight, Luis Severino, who has been, because he kind of comes in, he's the dude, right? He played in New York. He played for the Yankees. He played for the Mets. He's got all this postseason experience. I was talking to him yesterday about not only is he a mentor and a leader for the pitching staff, but for what he does for the hitters also. I have guys like him and Rooker, who now has just basically done everything in his career. He's done it all. So he's been an all-star. He's been DFA'd. He can help. It really is important, isn't it? Talk about how those guys, those veteran guys, can help these young players.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, every team that I've played on, especially towards the end of my career, I shared as much as I could from the playing perspective with the younger guys. And it means more coming from, your peers. Obviously, I do a lot of talking to the young guys. I had them in my office an hour ago. This is a group that they've got a lot to learn, not just on the field, but off the field, and how to handle themselves, how to carry themselves. And I think, the Severinos and, those guys that are veterans can help them probably more. They can probably impact them even more than what I'm able to do.
Yesteryear managers wouldn't talk to young players. There's like legendary stories. Our friend Bob Melvin talks about Sparky Anderson wouldn't even talk to him when he came up with the Tigers. And now I'm hearing it, like, how important is it that you truly understand, relate, mentor, teach, almost a father figure? Like, because let's face it, you have kids that are their age.
I do, actually. I have a daughter that's 21. So, yeah, I mean, the relationship side of things to me is very valuable, and building trust. They also need to know, though, that I'm also can be a disciplinary person too. And that message has been sent. So there's a balance to my role in getting close to players, but yet, keeping enough understanding that I can still lay the law down. And I think they understand that. This group, has been a great group to grow with, really. And I mean, some of these, you look at Jacob Wilson, his dad was a big leaguer.
Yeah.
There's a ton of experience around the game. So,
yeah, you had the Kurtz family sitting with the Wilson family on 2 nights ago when he got that opening hit. Just talk about that, what that was like being in the dugout. Obviously, it was a big deal around baseball. Everybody was watching Nick Kurtz's debut. He gets that hit. You guys win the game. Just talk about all the momentum that's going with the team and just how much fun that was with Nick Kurtz getting that first hit.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of positive energy around the club right now, and bringing a prospect up and implementing him into this team. It takes the group to kind of accept them and to welcome them, and this group's been great with that. There was a real joy about Nick coming here and joining them, and obviously there's been sacrifices made by Tyler Soderstrom to go out and try to learn to play left field in the big leagues, and so that says a lot about the group. It says a lot about what they want to do together and where they want to be.
And when you talk about sacrifices, people are going to have to move around. And we've seen, as of yesterday, defensive work going on. And Andujar with not only the first baseman's glove, but taking ground balls at third base. So there could be, at some point, a change in what you're doing with guys on defense. But as you mentioned, everybody's trying to make sacrifices for what's best for the greater good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you can put the team in front of yourself, there's going to be a lot of success. And I think these guys understand that. Last night's game was a prime example of that, utilizing, just the entire bench outside of Pareda to win a ball game.
All right, bullpen out of nowhere. Your bullpen is getting hot. How much fun is it knowing that you're looking down there and you got a lot of options?
I don't know if you talk about fun, but, there are options for sure. And they're still young down there. So, you build trust down there in the bullpen when you come in and have success. It definitely takes time, but I think the guys, and you can look at Sterner, you can look at Murdoch. These are two young arms that have, had some success. But again, it's April. I don't even know the date. 24th, maybe.
Great, yes, 25th.
25th, and we got 5 months ahead of us. So it's nice that we're having some success. It's nice these guys are throwing the ball well the last few days, because they are going to be a big part of our success. And for Mason, we got to get the ball to Mason, and we're finding those guys. I mean, Ferguson was in the bullpen last year and done a nice job. Otaniez is going out on a rehab assignment, and that's another arm that really helped in the bullpen last year. So, you can never have enough pitching.
All right. Mason Miller has a negative FIP, not to get into analytics, but basically he hasn't given up a run. He's essentially erasing runs before he even comes in the game. I mean, you talk about his start, like last year, had to learn the role, had to figure out if he could stay healthy. And now just talk about what he means to this club, because when he comes in, it's pretty electric.
Yeah, no, Mason's got off to a great start. Obviously, coming off last season as an all-star, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of attention, stuff, he hadn't experienced before. As you talked about, the role going into last season was something he'd never done. He obviously did it really well. So there's a lot of confidence in Mason when he comes in these games, and to watch him throw the ball to start the year out, I think it's been electric. He has an intensity about him and a focus and a determination to, as you talked about, not give up a run.
Are you feeling like the team is getting more comfortable with everything here at the ballpark in West Sacramento?
We're more comfortable for sure. Yeah. First homestand was. There was a lot of distractions around, the facilities and the routines that players need to kind of develop and get into. But I think the last couple of days have felt like home, and the guys are very much more comfortable in just they're going through their days and being focused on getting prepared to go out and play.
Jacob Wilson is just the third guy in the history of baseball to get the last walk-off at an old park and the first walk-off at a new park. It's pretty amazing. The other two, Jeremy Burnitz did it with the Brewers, and Jeff Kent did it, the last one at Candlestick and the first one at Pac Bell. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool stat. Appreciate you sharing that, Towny.
It gives you something for the clubhouse.
Okay, I'll take it back.
But what does that mean for you, though, that this kid – just talk about what this kid – he's special.
No, we talked about him a lot, and he's gotten off to a great start this season. The goal for me is to continue to keep him healthy throughout the season. His bat to ball skill is everything that has been advertised, and whether that's sustainable to continue to spray the ball around the field and hit 330. And only have one walk at this point through about 78 or 80 at bats it's pretty impressive.
You should have saw your GM. We were as we saw him walk with the bases loaded. We saw David Force. He was up there he was so happy for the walk for Jacob Wilson. It was hilarious.
That must have been before he left.
Hey, great stuff as always. Win tonight, 500 with a good series. You'll be over 500. And a really good start going in the right direction. We're happy for you guys.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
It's the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford.
Has stepped up again, winning the Triple Crown Award, Ford Motor Company's highest honor, now 7 years in a row. Folsom Lake Ford is a top sales leader in the U.S., along with being top in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Now that's a home run. Don't miss the huge savings on your favorite models at your truck headquarters, Folsom Lake Ford, in the Folsom Auto Mall.
This has been a presentation of the Athletic.